You clicked on this video because you saw it was a dirty story. You're a little sicko and I caught you. But you're in for a treat because technically this is kind of a dirty story. So, it's not what you would think. I'm actually going to be telling my testimony today, which if you don't know what a testimony is, I'm just going to let you know. It's basically like how you got your relationship with God, how you became a Christian. But this intro and my title was really just to captivate you into this situation, because a lot of people, when they see that, it's like boring, but I swear my testimony's not that boring. So stay and listen and let's do this. So started out, whenever I was younger, my mom raised me in church. I went every Sunday. I went every Wednesday. I went to every camp there was. I went to everything. My mom made me do all this stuff that I didn't want to do. I'd get so irritated because I'd have to go on Sunday nights and freaking sing and choir, and it was just not a good time sometimes. Sorry to my church. Sometimes it just wasn't fun. I'm just being honest. But, I made friends and it was awesome at times. Other times, I'd just be so bored and I'd be like, okay, this is annoying. So, growing up, like, whenever I hit high school, I kind of developed a sense, like, that, not that I didn't believe in God, but just that it was just not fun. And it was not, like, I didn't really want to go to church as much anymore, and, like, I was just so rebellious. I was like, Mom, I'm getting sick of this crap. I'm bored in church. I don't know what my preacher's saying. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and I love that church, and it like shaped who I am now. But I will say, whenever I would have like messages, sometimes I would just be like, Snorefest. That sounds rude. I'm just being honest. That's how I felt in high school. And maybe some of you guys feel like that now. So let me just let you know that that's not the case all the time. So basically went throughout high school. That's when I started my rebellious streak. So your girl was a little wild. And anyone who knew me in high school, or even anyone who knew me like a year and a half ago, girl, I was crazy, and I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have done, and I laugh about it just because that's my personality, but those things brought so much heartache to me and pain, and so basically, I was doing the actually it is pretty regular, the regular high school thing. Like, I was like the first one to start doing really like partying and drinking and having sex and all that, I was just doing it all. I was like, oh, woo! So like, anyone who knew me in high school, you can attest to this. I was a wild child, and one thing about me is that I would talk about whatever. If you wanted to know about my life, if you sat beside me in class, you knew my personal life. And you knew everything I did that weekend, and I would tell it like it was, and I would tell you if, I hooked up with a new guy, if I got wasted and fell asleep on the side of a highway. So as I'm going through this story, like, right now, I'm like, okay, this, like, I tend to be an oversharer, and I've always been like that, but my thing is, this is my story, so if it helps anyone, because let's be honest, the stuff we're facing in our world today, like, we don't need to sugarcoat things. So your girl is not sugarcoating anything. I'm just gonna tell it like it is and tell you guys why you shouldn't do what I did. It's not funny. This is just how I like explain things. So high school, doing my thing. I was really having trouble finding my self-worth. I wasn't seeking it in God. I was literally seeking it in other guys and alcohol, and my mom had almost no idea that I was just like sneaking out of the house and going to parties and doing this and doing that and just being so crazy. Golly, I feel bad for her, and I pray that my baby girl doesn't do this to me, but whew. So yeah, I was just doing me. And at the time, here's the thing, sin is fun. It is. I had fun while I was, drunk and out with my friends. It's fun. But the thing about it is it can ruin your whole life. And I felt my life just being ruined, and my self-worth was just getting knocked down lower and lower, and my love for myself, my love for others, my love for God, totally on the back burner. And I remember just deep inside, even though I didn't show it outwardly, because sometimes I'd have fun, yeah, but in the deepest like depths of how I felt, I was so sad. And after I would like, you know, go out that night, and the next morning I'd wake up like, what did I do? And I'd be like, what am I doing? And I'd just be sick about what I did. Because that's not how I was raised. It's not who I am. And it's not who God wanted me to be, and I knew that. You know, my relationship with God was non-existent. And I think a lot of the times when people don't have that relationship with God, or and they're in high school, like they will replace that void that they feel because they need God in their lives with men. And so that's what I did. And so I got in a relationship in high school, and this is not to, you know, talk down on this person, but this is just my story, so I want to tell it. No hard feelings between me and this person, but this was something that impacted me, so I want to share it. So in high school, you know, I was in this relationship, and it just beat me down to the core. And I had like, you know, I had bad self-worth before the relationship, but during and after the relationship, you know, I was just emotionally like, I hated who I was. I felt like I was everything this guy would tell me I was. I felt like that's what like a whore, a slut, a nasty, you know, you're worthless. Like that's all I would hear. So that's all I thought I was. And I believed it. I really, truly did. And after that relationship, I had all these pieces just crumbled, and I was like trying to pick them back up, and I was trying to find God again. And you know, I was for a little while. I was really, really trying. And I met Denver, and he was on the same page with me. He had just gotten out of a detox. And for those of you who don't know, in my previous videos I kind of touched on it, but Denver was an addict. So he was dealing with that, and I was dealing with, you know, my emotional issues and all my other issues. So we both just wanted something more, and we wanted to seek God together. And so at the beginning of our relationship, we definitely tried to do that. But it's hard. It really is so hard. And so, you know, he started using again. I went to college and started drinking and partying again. I mean, not that I ever really stopped, but I was trying. You know, we said we were gonna have sex, and we started having sex. Obviously, that's how I have my daughter. And then, you know, I kind of talked about in my 18 and pregnant story about, you know, what happened whenever, leading up to me having Ace and all of that. So, you know, we're just like a roller coaster of, you know, trying to just figure out like how to live for God, but you know, we've already done this, we've already done that. So it's hard. Once you start, you know, doing all of this stuff and making these mistakes and not living for God, it's hard to get on track with that. So throughout me and Denver's relationship, it was just kind of up and down of trying to get it together. You know, he would be doing drugs here, I'd be partying here, and then, you know, he would get sober, and I would try to like be there for him, and then I would go through my own thing, and he would try to be there for me. So it was just like we were constantly fighting, and I really feel like the devil was really testing us because we both wanted to have that relationship with God. We wanted to be happy, but we couldn't. Like, it was just so hard for us, and we struggled with that up until the day, you know, up until here recently, actually. So when Ace was born, you know, whenever I was pregnant, it was easier not to drink. It was easier not to do all this stuff. But I remember laying in bed whenever I was pregnant with her, and I would just be like, this is not what I want my baby to see. Like, I'm not the mother that I want to be. I want to be like my mom. My mom led me to God. My mom, you know, the only thing that matters in this world is our eternity and our relationship with God. Like, that's really all that matters. But it's so hard getting wrapped up in the world. You don't even think about that stuff. So after she was born, you know, I tried to just stay on track with my relationship with God, but it just wasn't there. And I don't know why. And then postpartum depression set in after I had her, and that was something that I'll definitely talk about in another video, but that rocked my world. That was the hardest thing that I have ever been through mentally, was my postpartum depression and anxiety. And from that stemmed, you know, I had kind of fixed my self-worth issue, but through my postpartum anxiety and stuff, you know, it was a whole different battle to fight mentally. And I just tried so hard to get out of it with just, you know, regular stuff. And eventually I turned to, you know, stuff like alcohol to try and fix it. And with alcohol and with those decisions came worse decisions. That didn't work. Just like me turning to other men in high school instead of God, that didn't work either. And so this year, January 1st, I decided that I was going to do a challenge. It was like a workout challenge or whatever. It was called a 12-week challenge by bodybuilding.com. And this isn't like a do a bodybuilding.com like a challenge, like no. But I felt like God told me to do it, so I did it. And it was 12 weeks of eating healthy, drinking water, going to the gym. And the gym had always been something that I needed just for my mental state, just because, you know, those endorphins, girl, I need those. So I started doing that, and within a week and a half, my anxiety went from here to like here. And I eventually started, you know, I had a clear head. I wasn't drinking alcohol at all. And I was seeking God with everything around me. Like, I had so much guilt. I had so much shame for the way I acted, because I'm a mom. Like, I had a beautiful daughter, and I should have been the happiest I had been. And I loved her more than anything. You know, she was the light of my life, but I was going through that depression and anxiety. So it was like, why am I not happy? I felt so much shame for not being happier than I was. And it had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with just my decisions and my depression and anxiety. So throughout this challenge, I was challenged to, I had just a very clear head, and the gym and eating healthy and that stuff, it just does something to you, and it really helps with that depression and stuff. So I started feeling clear-headed. I started thinking more and just really reflecting on who I was and what I wanted out of life. And I just realized that I want God in my life, and that's what I want. So April, you know, I got engaged to Denver, and, you know, it just kind of showed. I was like, wow, like living this life for God and living this life, you know, focusing on bettering myself and just being a good mom and working out and eating healthy and really just listening to what God has to say makes me a lot happier. And, you know, I ended up with an engagement. Like, my life is just overall better. So that was kind of where I got the bite of like, hey, this stuff, like, God is so good, and that's what I want. Like, I'm tired of feeling sad. I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of making bad decisions and regretting them, and I'm sick of all of the stuff that comes with that. So I was like, you know what? I don't even know what happened within me, but I just started, I think it was like April, May or June. I just got this like crazy feeling like I've got to commit to God, and that's just point blank period, because I'm not happy where I was. And these last 12 weeks have been the best thing of my life, and I'm a better mom, and I'm a better fiance, and I'm just a better person all around. And so I started focusing on God more, and I wasn't perfect. I was trying, and I think here in July, I think over the summer, was really where God did crazy things in me. And it was like, you know, I would pray, and I would feel like He would speak to me every single time, and He gave me a purpose. And, you know, he led me to vlogging, and He guided me to, you know, invest in my relationship with Denver more, and I'm just overall a better mother. My head, like, I always have something going on in my head where I'm just like, I just want to continue to be better. And even these past like 3 weeks, the past 3 weeks have been really, really just where my heart has changed completely. You know, probably like 2 months ago, I was saying the F-bomb. I was, you know, doing this and like I was like literally 2 months ago. And so it's kind of feels premature to be talking about this, but because I feel what I feel and because I feel the relationship with God and I speak to him every day and I know who he is and we actually have a relationship. Like when people say like, oh yeah, I have a relationship with God, I never got that. I was like, what? Like, what do I just, like, what do I do? Like, he's not talking to me. But now I actually have a relationship with God and it's like a two-way street. Like I talk to him, he talks to me, he guides me through everything. And the peace that I feel, and that's not to say I don't have anxiety sometimes and I don't get sad sometimes, because I do, but the peace that I feel inside of me is insane. And I feel so much happier, I feel so much better, I feel so much closer to God and my family, and it's just making me an girl, you did not just throw that phone at me. The things that I do to further my relationship with him is I read the Bible every single night. I pray every single day, multiple times a day. I listen to, one thing that really helps me is I listen to Stephen Furtick. He is a preacher out of North Carolina, I think Charlotte, North Carolina, and he is absolutely, it might be South Carolina, I don't know. He's amazing though. And it's like, you know, I feel like God's speaking to me every second, and I feel like maybe, you know, the devil in my younger years, he was really coming at me hard, and I was like, dude, lay off, like, but I think that's because I have a big purpose in life, and I have a purpose to, you know, do what God wants me to do, and the devil does not want that. So it's like, leave me alone, devil. I'm about to be great. Leave me alone. But on a serious note, you guys, if you are feeling sad or if you are doing things that just make you feel empty inside and make you have anxiety, that's not how your life is supposed to be. And I always thought, literally, I always thought, like, anyone who knows me knows, like, whatever, like, just go with the flow. Like, I was not leading a godly example at all. But I want to be here to tell you guys there is more to life, and there is more to, like, your feelings are so important, and your relationship with God is so important, and I just want everyone to feel the way that I feel and know God the way I know God. And I'm not saying that it's gonna, like, I know my relationship with God isn't gonna be just like, woohoo, like, yes, like, I'm kind of like on a Jesus high right now, but I know it's gonna get hard. But I know that I'm not gonna be able to do this life without him. I know that for a fact. And neither are you. And it's gonna be so hard if you don't have him. And it's gonna be hard if you do have him, but, you know, you need that. So if you don't have that, if I can pray for you or if I can talk to you, just message me, because I don't want anyone to feel the way I felt, you know, because I know how good I feel now, and I want everyone to feel that. And my life has changed. You know, like I said, I'm not having sex. I'm trying not to curse anymore. I very rarely cuss as of now. Now, this is kind of recent. So I'm not perfect, and I'm kind of like a baby in this whole new walk with God, because I'm like gung-ho now, and you know, I'm listening to what he's saying to do, and I'm doing all these crazy things that I never like I'm literally being led by faith. That's the only thing I can explain, and I want everybody to just get to feel that. So that's why I'm like so annoying right now, like, please, but I really do. So I love you all so much, and if you want to talk, if you feel sad, if you feel down, and if you want something more, you can message me, or, you know, go watch Stephen Furtick online, or Craig Rochelle, or go read your Bible, or just call out to God and just be like, dude, I need your help, because he can do amazing things in your life, and he's done amazing things in my life. And if I look back from 5 years to now, like, it's astonishing what he has done for me. And I'm so very thankful, and I can't wait to see where he takes me in life. So that is my testimony. I only have 4 minutes till this camera goes dead, so that's awesome that I just ended. Okay, so without further ado, I love you all so much. I'm gonna take care of my baby now. Without further ado, I'm rolling out. Oh, I worked out yesterday, so I'm so sore, so that really hurt. Bye, guys. Oh, subscribe to my channel. Oh, also like this video, and also do this other thing called, what's the other thing? Comment if you want to talk to me. Bye. Love you. Bye. Bye. Bye.